Welcome back, everybody. It is the Working Brother back at you with another talk. Yet again, Drago Bosnic, also known as Drago, who writes for InfoWars and is now a multi-award winning journalist and and writer, is back to continue to discuss these things that we talk about that have nothing to do with reality and any coincidences, like blah blah. Anyway, so Drago, hi, welcome back. How are you? Long time no see.
I'm great. Long time no see, and I just want to say I wish I actually wrote for InfoWars.
Oh, did I say InfoWars? I said InfoBricks. I meant to say InfoBricks. InfoWars? Did I say InfoWars?
Yeah, I don't mind. Like, if InfoWars sees this, I'm all good for cooperation, man.
I don't know, man. I wouldn't, like, 25 years ago, like, InfoWars was cool. Like 15, 20 years ago, InfoWars. Now it's just like, yeah, I don't know, buddy. How many ex-wives have you gotten? Who are they? You know? And why did they change your narrative so much? Speaking of, we've got some awesome stuff here lined up. We've got more memes than we have news because it is that kind of show. Shall we do the new followers? Let's do the new followers. Hi, everyone who's new here. Welcome. This is from my personal archive from 11 years ago, long before I was the Working Brother. What can I say? We don't discriminate here. All followers are welcome. Also, before we get into the more serious jokes, I know, I'm not even letting Drago talk. Drago, I'm sorry. Is there anything that you would like to tell people that's on your mind that you didn't get off in the last talk we did?
No, man, you can continue. I mean, I don't mind you talking, so.
I don't know. Subscribers might care. Let me know what you guys want. Do I interrupt my guests enough, or do you want me to interrupt them more? The National Meme Coordination Body posted this, which translates to don't buy a calendar for 2025. Search your grandma's closet for a calendar for 1941 or from 1941. Follow us for more saving tips. So 1941, good year, huh? What happened in 1941 that was significant, Drago? Anything that you can remember off the top of your head?
Man, that's so hard. I don't know. Maybe it was like some tournament in cricket or something.
I can't remember. I'm not a sports fan, so I don't know.
Yeah, it must have been a boring year for everyone, man. Like, they didn't have internet back then.
How do you feel about the fact that history rhymes and is not actually repeating or like, copying itself, but is...
It rhymes so often that I'm often thinking, that it actually is repeating itself. Almost repeating itself, if nothing else. So, yeah. Pretty much you nailed it with that one. Just keep calm and wait for the Russians, just like we did 80 years ago or before that.
80 years ago. Funny you should mention that. Fico and Orban and Vucic have been mentioning it a lot recently. You want to tell people what happened 80 years ago? Because they're in Europe and they might not know. Just like the Japanese don't know who bombed them. They forgot.
Well, the NATO of the age fucked around and found out. So I guess they're trying to do the same now. So yeah, good luck with that. And that was before the Russians had thousands of nukes. So it's going to be successful this time, 100%. Like, just go for it, man.
Not only nukes, but Oreshniks. Germany whining it is defenseless against Oreshnik after initially mocking it. Everybody remembers how everybody was making fun of the Oreshnik, that it doesn't exist, and that it's impotent, and it is useless. We described it in detail previously, but Drago, do you want to tell people what's going on here?
Yeah, the German media, after the Oreshnik was used in November, they were saying that it didn't actually make a lot of damage. So in the meantime, military experts from Bundeswehr explained that the damage is not visible on the surface, that it's actually much more easily detectable when you go there and see a giant fucking hole in the ground. And whoever was in the bunker or in the former Yuzhmash area, in the underground areas, well, they stayed there and will stay there forever. So when the Germans realized what they were faced with, they're now essentially panicking and trying to find new ways to defend themselves. Well, I would just advise him to go to Ukraine and ask the Kiev regime, for those patriots, because only the Ukrainian patriots are working. The Israeli ones, the American ones, all these other patriots are crap. But the Ukrainian ones, they keep shooting down Russian hypersonic missiles. And considering that Oreshnik is just a backward Russian weapon and based on technologies that are outdated, I don't think they're going to have problems with that. And they're going to be able to shoot down 6 to 10 of these Oreshniks, even if like 2 are fired. So, yeah. I think they have nothing to worry about. I don't know why they're so worried about shooting them down when they can do it, right? Just have to ask Ukrainians how they did it.
I know my subscribers are not worried because they've seen that meme of being just a chill guy, and they know it's the midnight sun at 3 in the morning. Shout out to everybody who's a patron. Thank you for supporting me, all 5-6 of you. By the way, check out the Patreon for lower than like $1 a month. Everybody's bought me a coffee. Thank you for buying me coffee. But also, I wanted to do this because a friend of mine told me, we were watching this video, and he's like, you should try this. And I want to tell you guys that like this is really close to me, and it's important, and I need it from you. So like, it would really make a difference if you could go and like buy me a coffee. Just like one. Like, it'll motivate me to actually withdraw some money from there. And then I'll get closer to like that minus 7,000 plus euro that I've, sunk into this working brother project thing out of my personal money. Did you like that? Did that pull on your strings? Like if you were listening to the comedy and then you heard me go all quiet and sad, would that make you find the link?
Actually, I'm not sure if you're hearing the clicking, but that's me actually trying to donate now. So.
Yeah, I heard the clicking. I heard the clicking.
Let me mute myself to prevent you from hearing the clicking, because I don't want you to get emotional over that.
Right, so. Right. The humor here at Working Brother sometimes is like camouflage. Not today. Today it's right out there. But today it's like that dazzle razzle camouflage. If you know, you know. But in any case, shall we do another article? Because that article was good. I felt good after that article. Did you feel good after that article? Multipolar world's tech edge grows, leaves political West trailing behind. What is this Russian propaganda?
Yep, that's a good question. I mean, really, like, if the previous one made you feel good, like this one is gonna, it's gonna blow your mind. So, for those people who don't know, the Russians and the Chinese have actually, in the last 2 months, they've presented some pretty incredible weapons. And we already talked about the Russian Oreshnik. But apart from that, the Russians are actually speeding up their 6th generation projects. And according to some Russian sources I talked to, they have at least 2 active at this time. So there's the so-called MiG-41. And there's also one that is unnamed, but it's led by the Sukhoi Design Bureau. And if we count the Su-57M, which is also essentially a 6th gen fighter, although I hate using the word generation because it's essentially a marketing trick. But anyway, I'm not going to get into that. That's a whole other issue. The Su-57M has all the hallmarks of a new next generation weapon. I'm not talking about fifth, but the sixth one. And of course, the Chinese are making certain very, very important advances in aviation. They have at least two sixth-gen fighters, the J-36 and J-50, as they're called by the media. We don't know if these are the actual designations.
You mentioned the Russian secret two jets, and I was like, wait, what about the Chinese? And it's good you got to the Chinese, because like the Chinese, like on Mao's anniversary, were just like, yo, look, we got a stealth 6th gen. Do you know what a 6th gen is? No, we don't know either, but we got one. You know. And then 25 minutes later, they were like, oh, you're surprised? Look, there's another one. No, it's not the same. It's a different one.
It's a different one, exactly. I mean, you know, the Chinese have actually, as I said, like they've done incredible work, and one of those actually has 3 engines, with 2 engines being regular jet engines, and the third one, there's like a lot of speculation, but they're saying that the third one is actually some sort of a scramjet or a ramjet that's going to give this jet sort of like a way to fly very, very high. And according to certain experts, the third engine might be modular and might be replaced by some kind of a space-based propulsion that might push it, you know, beyond the top altitude for regular air jets. So and also there's the H-20, which is like a stealth bomber. It's very difficult to say which generations are bombers, but you know, some are saying it's 6th gen, but you know, like the generations are usually used for fighter jets. So and of course they're also building new missiles, and the Indians are also putting these Russian sourced and Russian designed missiles that they are using, specifically Brahmos, on land-based launchers. So we can see that the multipolar world is expanding quite fast, and also the Russians are
the arsenal
the
of the arsenal of the multipolar world is expanding fast and integrating even faster. But the multipolar world itself is, I think, a step or two behind. But it has to be, because what we've learned is that without the military backing, or the muscle behind the talk, there's no talk of independence from, you know, the empire.
From democracy, right?
Democracy, that's the word I was looking for. It's good you have these Russian terms ready for us. For everybody who has an opinion, thanks for your opinion. This is what happens when you leave your opinion in chat. Yeah. Also, doing some fact checking here. I'm clearing out these things that I have posted. National Meme Coordination Body was saying that all of Hollywood is burning with the sign. Apparently, I checked this firm's NASA.gov site, and the fires are actually not near the actual Hollywood sign. Like, the Hollywood sign is here and the fires are here. So it might have changed in the meantime, but those original pictures, I am very much, almost absolutely sure that they are AI generated. So yeah, there's that. You can't believe anything you see anymore, as we learned, not even drowning crocodiles. If you missed it, you didn't watch the last episode to the end. What can I do? I'm sorry. Go watch the end of the last episode. NATO still trying to use neo-Nazi junta to attack Russia's nuclear triad. You mean those fans of nuts are at it again?
Yep. They've actually attacked the Engels 2 air base of the Russian aerospace forces, specifically the long-range aviation, as it's called.
That was like yesterday or the day before, as we record this early morning of the 15th.
Exactly. This actually happened on January 8th. and they attacked a fuel depot that supposedly contained the T8V high density fuel that's used by the Tu-160 stealth, not stealth, I mean long range bomber, strategic bomber, or missile carrier, as the Russians call it. And supposedly this was supposed to disrupt the operations of Tu-160. So the interesting thing is the Ukrainians themselves admitted that the Tu-160 is not important for operations in Ukraine because most of the cruise missiles that are launched from these bombers are actually launched from Tu-95MS, which is like this old style turboprop strategic bomber. I mean, it's no less deadly because it's not jet powered. So the point is, like, they admitted that they essentially destroyed this and disrupted the Tu-160 operations, but this is not necessary for the war in Ukraine. So what was the point? Like, why did they do it? Well, I mean, in my opinion, NATO just ordered them to do it in order to disrupt the Russian nuclear triad. So again, they are poking the bear in the eye and expecting nothing to happen. So
Last time was like when they destroyed that over the horizon radar for nuclear launches. That was poking the ear or eye of the bear. This is more like sticking something in its claw, man. This is like you've got the bear there, and you're like, oh, that's a nice paw you've got. I'm gonna stick a thorn in it.
Exactly. But the interesting thing is. They didn't actually destroy the radar. They damaged it, and the rest of those drones that were trying to target the over the horizon radar, specifically the Warren HDM, they got shot down. But the point is, like, there's the intention of attacking these things, and some of the most prominent experts in the U.S., including this guy called Theodore Postol, who actually worked on America's nuclear triad doctrine in the 1980s. He actually said that droning Russian over the horizon radars is beyond stupid. So essentially, like, this is what NATO is doing. They're sending a message to the Russians: we're going to target this and leave you blind, or leave you defenseless, and so on and so on. So I mean, they're asking for it, right? I don't know how else to describe it. They are asking for that 3 a.m. sun.
Asking for 3 a.m. sun, indeed. I was gonna say that basically poking the bear doesn't even cover what they're doing, and this is kind of like. I don't know if you've ever been in a fight. I mean, I know you have. We've talked off camera. But the point is, viewers, I don't know if you've ever been in a fight, but where comes a point in a fight where, like, you realize who's winning and who's losing and how it's going to go. And there's two, like, as the loser of the fight, there's two attitudes that you can have. One is of facing reality and being like, okay, I need to protect myself and, like, calm the situation down so this person doesn't, like, take out all their anger at me. And the other approach, which is what we have here, is like, oh my god, I'm gonna scratch you and I'm gonna, like, leave as much fucking damage. I'm gonna, like, still get pummeled by you and you're gonna, like, kill me in the end, but you're gonna have scratches. So that's what's going on here. That's my
actually this is how fights work with people who don't know how to fight. Like, if you are with a person, if you're fighting a guy who has fought before, he's going to punch you in the face twice, you're going to punch him once or thrice, that doesn't matter, and you're going to stop there. You're not going to take an AK and shoot each other, right? So, like, the fight is going to end. You might even shake hands in the end, who knows. But for people who are unable to control their emotions, as you just explained, like, they're going to poke the eye of the other person just to make a point that they can do it. Like this is how weaklings fight. And it seems to me that these people have taken over the Pentagon. So Yeah.
Any resemblance to reality is purely coincidental. This is a comedy show. Nothing we say here has anything to do with reality. And that is why we're not eligible for monetization, or I'm not eligible, because there's no we. It's only me. Drago's here out of his own charity to get awards after three years. But yeah, check out the links below if you want to support me. You can do it that way. Should we do some memes? I think we should do some memes. We've got like 10 memes and 2 articles. Do you want economics humor, or do you want MAGA hard to swallow pills?
Let's do both anyways. So.
Well, yeah, but like I was going to say which one first, but since you're not being very creative, we'll go in order. Some economical humor. And yes, I did that on purpose. I was being economical with my diction. No, you can't just assume everything. Ha, economics go brr. Also, ethics in business. This is real. I was there. I did ethics class, and then I did business classes, and ethics in business doesn't exist. Not in the Western capitalist model, anyway. I am Western educated, unfortunately. But it's good to know your enemy. It's good to know your enemy, though.
Yeah.
Where were we? MAGA, hard to swallow pills. How do you feel about Trumpy Trump? Hard to swallow pills. Trump is a deep state puppet installed to usher in New World Order agendas you'd resist under a Democrat. MAGA people, leave a comment. Are you triggered? Drago,
well, I mean,
what's your take?
Just look at Musk. I mean, the guy's pretending to be the opposition. You know, he's giving you the free speech platform, such as the X, where you can say whatever you want, except, you know, certain things that are off the limits and off limits. And you know, the whole idea, as you said, like the very fact that he's a Pentagon contractor should be enough of a hint that, you know, you shouldn't trust this guy.
This was not scripted, and I didn't know he was going to bring up Musk, but I was going to bring up Musk because Musk is not your friend. This is your daily reminder. Also, Project Knowledge seems to be maybe a subscriber, but in any case, daily reminder. Globalist technocrat is not your friend. Synthetic mRNA, basically digital medicine with incredible potential. Also him, sounds like he doesn't realize Tesla makes the vaccine machine for CureVac. Also him, at some point having Neuralink will be normal. Also him. The only action needed to solve climate change is a carbon tax. Because, yes.
Yeah, and I was just about to say, and this also wasn't scripted, just for the record, but I was about to say that he is a transhumanist, no less than Yuval Harari or any of these WEF guys. Like, he's talking about the Neuralink. I'm not against it, of course, in certain ways. Like, if there are people who can't walk, people who can't see, it's like they have no other choice. Maybe Neuralink can help them, but the very idea that we're going to replace our own, let's say, perception of reality and turn into semi-machines is not a good thing. And you know, like, just using the human body for that is, we have no idea what sort of repercussions that's going to have in the following decades. Because, I mean, we still haven't even evolved enough to like get used to smartphones, and now they're talking about removing smartphones and using these, I don't know, glasses, smart glasses as they're called, and then the next thing you know, it's going to be like an implant in your head, and you're going to be able to just imagine everything that you want, right? So, you know, if you watched Matrix, I guess it's it you know, it kind of makes sense now. So. It seems to me that, like, they're essentially programming us to.
All you have to keep in mind is that Musk is a cyberpunk kind of guy. Let's put it that way. And he's like aiming for cyberpunk by 2077. Also, did you hear Medvedev was saying that like they basically, was it Medvedev who's saying that, or was it Dugin who was saying that they basically live in cyberpunk? I can't remember who it was, but somebody was saying it. So also you were mentioning free speech on the XEX and the Twitterverse. This is NBC News shared by Ducktoons Historia in the chat from Intel Slava Z. Wow, that was a handful. Meta's new hate speech guidelines permit users to say LGBTQ plus FMNOP alphabet soup are mentally ill, and other things you can say there, but also
you can't say certain things.
The updates similarly preserve a number of older restrictions that Meta had in place for years. The current version maintains the policy, blah blah, you can read it on screen. So yeah, there's that about the Zucky.
You know, like all of this has, like, if it doesn't arouse suspicion, then you know nothing, right? Like if Zuckerberg making this 360 degrees turn, as Annalena Baerbock would say, it's like this 180 essentially.
Where's my like, pixelation sensor? I have every time that we talk about Baerbock, I have to like censor myself, like to get the jihadi sensor going. The beep buck.
But I mean, seriously, like, if you're not suspicious in the least that this guy is like making, like, he's saying completely different things. Like, he went on Joe Rogan and saying, oh, like, you know, fact checking went out of hand. Oh, really? Like, now you're saying it after like 5 years or 6 years or longer. I can't even remember how long of terrorizing all of us for making stupid jokes on freaking Facebook. And
yeah,
now
and the bottom line is the main stuff is still there. And then there's people who are like talking nonsense, like, you know, oh, Instagram is not that bad, Facebook is bad, but Instagram is not. It's like, no. Ask any Serbian meme page. They all have like their 7th profile in the last 3 years.
Like, the point is, what's even worse than actual banning is shadow banning, where you think you're actually reaching people, but you're not. And
we have no idea what you're talking about here. 2.5 years of like 1,500 subscribers. By the way, if you're watching this and you're not subscribed, why? Like, okay, time out. I excuse myself. If you're watching this and you have a YouTube account, because there's many of you that watch this without using YouTube, and that, okay, I respect that. But if you have a fucking YouTube account, why don't you just click the button? Like, it helps the channel. I don't get any money of it. It doesn't cost you anything. It's not going to make a difference in your life. It's going to make a little bit of a difference in mine. And who knows? Maybe some other people will be exposed to this lovely award-winning humor that Drago has put up with.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that.
Anyway, so everything on the internet has nothing to do with reality, as we all know. And you shouldn't trust any images with quotes. A true sign of intelligence is not knowledge, but imagination. Albert Einstein. I imagine this quote is real, so therein I am intelligent. That's what I had to add to that. And then Jerry, who might come on one day and we might do a talk. He's a subscriber, a long-time ex-NASA engineer who moved to Russia with his wife in their 60s or 70s. I might be mistaken. But in any case, yeah, that's a hell of a story. Can't wait to tell it. But the point is, he sent this in. Don't believe everything you read on the internet just because there's a picture with a quote next to it. Abraham Lincoln. And the funny thing is, I always thought it was Mao Zedong who said that. You know, I always saw that it was like Mao's picture with that quote. It shows that you can never trust the internet. Drago,
well, you could put Mao's picture and still like say Abraham Lincoln, and some will think that's true.
I've actually seen those guys too, where they put like David Bowie from like Next, and like a Van Gogh quote. Brussels bureaucrat threatens Germany. What does that even mean? Shows you effectively a dictatorship.
This is actually very, very good that it happened, because it's gonna dispel some illusions of some people who actually think the EU is democratic and free. So namely this former French EU commissioner called Thierry Breton, or Breton, I'm not even sure how to pronounce his name. Actually, he said it on live TV, mind you, that they're going to ban the AfD being the alternative for Deutschland. It's like this right-wing extremist German party that doesn't want to go to war with Russia. And of course, the EU bureaucrats don't like it, and they want to ban it. Like, they literally want to ban the party before the election. And this guy, Thierry Breton, he went on a rant, and he said, we did it in Romania, and if it's necessary, we're going to do it in Germany as well. So for those who don't know, the Călin Grigorescu, the candidate that actually won the first round of the Romanian election, well, those elections got annulled by the Romanian Supreme Court, or Constitutional Court, for being for
too
Russian
democratic.
meddling, you know.
They watch too many. Again, they watch too many Working Brother episodes in Romania.
Yeah. Like, this is essentially like Russiagate light, just in Romania, and they like, this guy admitted that this wasn't the Romanian constitutional court; it was the EU that ordered them to cancel the election and then like repeat the election.
You
and
misunderstood it.
Protests.
No, you misunderstood it. It was probably lost in translation. Like, he was speaking in a different language, and that was translated to Russian, and that Russian person translated it to you, probably, and then like somewhere there you misunderstood. But what he meant to say, probably, is the only democratic solution is not to vote like they're doing in Ukraine.
Exactly. I mean, obviously, the Ukraine is a beacon of democracy, unlike those crazy Russians who actually had elections several times so far. But still, like, they have to be a dictatorship. They're just not, like, they're not free, obviously. So yeah, it's interesting.
Drago, we have to get some things clear. Democracy is just a word, all right? And biology is also just like a word. And biology is just applied chemistry. And chemistry is just applied physics. And physics is just applied mathematics. And maths is just applied philosophy. And philosophy is just a byproduct of misunderstanding language. And all of those are words. So there's that. You know? Democracy, man. Yeah. Is it our democracy? Is it their democracy? Is it the people's democracy? Like, what democracy are you talking about?
Like, in all seriousness, this guy was actually on TV. He was talking about the need to have free speech, but then he said that free speech needs to be regulated and controlled to protect free speech and democracy. So in other words, you need to remove free speech to save free speech. So yeah,
you said he was French?
Yeah, you got to bomb.
Are you sure he's not Vichy? Are you sure he's not Vichy?
Yeah, he's probably Vichy. Yeah, I have no other. Maybe Petain is one of his ancestors. Who knows?
Because I was gonna say, like, I thought he was German from what you're describing, because that's the German definition of free speech. I don't know if you know. Most Germans don't even know. But like, go check your German laws on free speech. But the German law on free speech is like, you can talk about whatever you want as long as we let you talk about it. Like, there's things you can't talk about which you can't talk about, and you can get arrested for. But you have free speech with German characteristics. Almost like Chinese characteristics. Drago, I have an ethical question for you. How do you feel about fireworks and firecrackers, as in, like, those handheld fireworks that you can, like, throw and, like, they explode? They don't, like, do like the fire stuff. Petarde. For New Year celebrations for children and for families and for like built-up city areas. Do you think the Serbian saying of Petarde suzaretarde has a stance in today's society?
Yeah, well, surviving 3 U.S. bombings and wars, I remember far more than just the firecrackers. So, and to be honest, firecrackers were part of my childhood, and my dogs didn't die from it. They actually continued living and, wiggling their tails just as much as before. So I don't know. I haven't heard of this until, it started appearing in media in our time. So I don't know what the fuzz is about. Like, I understand it affects people.
The fuss is these people don't have children. They don't have anyone to spend their time with during the holidays. They spend their time alone with their dogs. Their dogs are sensitive to loud noises because they're spoiled little poodles that shouldn't be living in complexes and they should be hunting rats in castles. For people that don't know, that's what miniature dogs were actually used for before. In any case, and their only ability to get attention is to post on social media that the fireworks are for retards and that they can blow people's hands off. Yes, they can blow people's hands off, but they can. So can your dog.
Which is why you throw them. You don't keep them in your fucking hands. So.
Yeah, but in all seriousness though, parents, be fucking responsible with your kids, because there's a lot of parents that are not, and there's even cases that I've seen here where they'll throw it off the 10th floor and it'll fall to your 5th floor balcony, and the wind will carry it and it'll explode on your balcony and not just out in the open. So yeah, supervise your kids with fireworks. Introduce them to fireworks, firearms.
I really am against those bombs, as they're called. There are actually firecrackers, which are not really hand grenades, but
M20s and M40s. I think in the States they're called M20s and M40s. We used to play with them when we were kids. We used to make little war scene recreations and put fuses and tie them up and time them and film it. We
did that too. But the point is I mean, to be honest, now at this age, I don't have kids yet, but at this age, I'm thinking I wouldn't allow my kids to do the shit I did as a kid. But the point is they're going to do it either way. Just try to educate them, as you said. Try to explain to them that don't get your eyes gouged out by explosives or your fingers blown off. Just try to be safe if you're already doing it. But the point is I wouldn't ban it outright, as they're saying. I would probably regulate it more to make sure that not all sorts of shit get into the market and then things explode in your hands. But the point is just mind, be mindful, take care of safety. But if you're going to do it already, so, and I mean, who's going to stop all these kids from doing it? And even as you said, those spoiled people that they keep talking about it, that their pets are going to get brain damage or whatever. Nobody's going to stop doing that because of your pet. Just let people enjoy New Year's, and that's it.
It's not only about the pets, man. It's just no comment. I should limit myself. Let's stick to memes. People learning Serbian, easy spelling. Literally the rest of Serbian grammar. And like I pointed out, it's not true. Russian grammar is maybe difficult, but Serbian grammar is maybe a step or two above. Close. Arabic comes close, but still, no. Serbian takes the cake. Come to Serbia. Learn Serbian. So that the whole world can understand you. Right, Drago?
Yeah, that's exactly the Serbian saying.
I want to bring this up because I made a meme about it, and then all kinds of stories came out, and I wanted to get your take because you are a military and geopolitical analyst, award-winning, I might add, as Mr. Michael Shosudovsky or Michel Shosudovsky pointed out in that one talk. So I labeled this the face you make when you're a Russian Tuvan and they keep speaking Korean to you. Now, this was made the first day that this news came out, and the second and third subsequent days, there's like an interview video with him, and he's there going, I don't know. I think at some point he also talks, but I don't speak Tuvan and I don't speak Korean, so I don't know. But I also don't speak any dialect of Korean, so I can't interpret if he is speaking Korean. Is he a South Korean pretending to be a North Korean, or is he actually captured North Korean? Because we've seen all kinds of fakes from the Ukrops, as Texas, rest in peace, used to call them. What's to say this isn't a fake?
Like,
Drago?
it's a good question. In both cases, like the vast majority of regular people in the West or anywhere else, or in most of the planet, will not see the difference. And I remember seeing from the beginning of the SMO, there were dead Buryats, there were dead, Russian soldiers who happened to be of Asian race. So they've been around since the very beginning, and like they're very loyal citizens of Russia, and there are more Tuvans and Buryats and Yakuts and Kalmyks who are serving.
There's a really hilarious video from the first year of the SMO of a Tuvan tank brigade. They captured a Ukrainian tank, and they're refurbishing the Ukrainian tank, and they take it for a drive, and this Tuvan guy is so happy. He's so happy that I've never seen a person so happy to capture a tank. But it was gold. And he's like, as you say, 100% Russian. He just looks a little more Asian than your average Russian.
Yeah, these people, they belong to a different ethnic group, but they see themselves as Russians. And for those who don't understand, in order to understand the difference between ethnic Russians and the rest of the country, you should understand Russian. And there are two words. There's Rosyane, which means Russians as Russian citizens, regardless of their ethnicity, and Ruski or Ruskie, which is ethnic Russians. But this is more than just Russian citizens, because many Ukrainians, actually most of them in the past, and Belarusians also see themselves as part of the Ruskie narod. So there's a big difference. Not a big, but there is a difference between those two things. So a Tuvan might not be an ethnic Russian, but he still considers himself culturally Russian and belonging to the wider Russian nation. And these people are very loyal to their motherland. And this is the reason why they're fighting in Ukraine against, of course, these NATO guys. So if
not
one
to
of
mention
these people
the history.
if some of these people are killed or wounded or captured, how the hell are you going to know what are they? How are you going to know the difference between a Tuvan? I challenge anyone to put a Tuvan next to a Korean and try to see the difference. And also there's another thing. There are actual Koreans in Russia, people who actually live in the Russian Far East, including the Sakhalin island. So these people are actual Koreans. They've been there before Russia came and conquered those areas. And now they also have Russian names. They are Koreans, ethnic, but they're also Russian citizens. So there are certainly Koreans who have died fighting in the Russian military, but they're not necessarily North Korean. So again, but even if this guy who was captured, even if he were North Korean, it doesn't prove anything. Again, a number of North Korean special forces is already fighting there. There are also specialists for artillery and missiles and so on, rockets. So it's possible that you might encounter them there, but it seems to me that the Western media and the Kiev regime are just so desperate to have some Koreans there, to prove whatever they want to prove. I don't even know what they're trying to do.
Um, I had this queued. We touched on the subject and then we meandered, but now we're back on it. Ukrops and fans of nuts and some retarded person here posting this. But these are all words that exist in Russian and in Serbian that have been perverted, as in like changed, from Serbian and Russian, respectively.
Yeah, I just want to.
Turned out. Hold on. I'm still getting there. I'm working up to the punchline. And they've been edited, and they've been like basically boiled down to the same garbage that is basically a British Anglicization of these languages, I guess, and created words and sounds. Yeah? No? What do you think?
Yeah, I just want to point out that the words on the left from the so-called Croatian language, which is just like rebranded Serbian, like it's not even the official Croatian language. It is one of their, so to speak, like ways of speaking. It's not an accent. It's like a regional speech of that's only used in Dalmatia, or that's like the literal areas of Croatia. It's called Ikavica, like that's how it's called, because they've replaced the E with I. And regarding the Ukrainian language, the people who constructed the so-called Ukrainian language, they've used the dialects from modern day Western Ukraine as the basis of this language. However, most Ukrainians, throughout their history, they were not speaking this language. Like this language was spoken in the former kingdom of Galicia and Lodomeria, which was an Austro-Hungarian province in the northeast of former Austria-Hungary. Like this was the area where this Ukrainian so-called language was formed. The rest of the country was speaking what they called Surjik, which is like a blend between modern day Russian and modern day Ukrainian. And the whole point is, Russia is a massive country, and we all know that, of course. And throughout history, many of the areas that the Russian Empire was controlling, they were controlled by other countries, including the Kingdom of Poland, Lithuania, the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. So over the centuries, these differences in the wider old Russian language became more prominent. And then some people, of course, the Austrian intelligence specifically, and the Vatican, they tried to form a separate Ukrainian Belarusian identity to, of course, separate him from the Russians. And one of the ways to do that, of course, is to create the language. And they used the Western Ukrainian dialect, which was the most de-Russified at that point. And that's the basis of this Ukrainian linguistic identity. And they've been trying to impose it on the rest of the country, but it never really, left off. It never really caught on in most of Ukraine. In urban areas, it didn't catch on at all because most of them still speak Russian. In small villages and towns, it caught on to a certain degree, but as I said, most of them still speak Surjik, which is, as I said, the blend between Russian and Ukrainian, or not really a blend. It's just a local language that existed there forever. So, the whole idea that of the Croatian and Ukrainian language, it's essentially just a construct of those who wanted to break apart these Slavic nations and just use them against the bigger one.
I think your time in Hungary has affected you, and you've obviously been infected with this Orban propaganda that you're trying to spill here as if it's like truth and gospel and history and so on. Unbelievable. What how long did you stay there? 5 days? Not even. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
This was sent in. This was sent in by Marlena in chat. to do with those things happening in L.A. Let's put it that way. This was sent in by Carrie. She's an American, if I'm not mistaken. How Americans see themselves versus how the rest of the world sees them.
Pretty much.
We're down to the last article, so I'm getting these out of the way. Let's do a throwback to 2011. That's Obama for the children in the audience. And by children, I mean anybody who's under 20. No.
Pretty much.
Leave the jacket on for now, bro. It's Muslim Brotherhood, but it's actually Al Qaeda, but it's actually the CIA. But yeah.
Oh man, like I was laughing so hard when this new so-called Jelani government. I mean, it's ridiculous. Nobody elected them. They just elected themselves by conquering the fucking country.
Before you start, because you called him Jolani, and that is what the transliteration is of his assumed second name. But I don't know what is funnier or worse about his name. His first name is Abu Muhammad, I believe, al-Jolani. That's his first name, which means the father of Muhammad from the Golan Heights. That's all it means. That's literally what it means.
Right.
So Golani is Jolani. All right. That's number one. And his other name, what's his other name? Do you know his other name?
Al-Sakra, something like that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. And it can be, like, I don't know how it's written and said in Arabic. I haven't heard it pronounced. But the English transliteration can be backwards transliterated into Arabic to mean one of two things. Either he is Sharawi, which means from the streets, or he is Sahrawi, which means from the desert. Either way, he's the Golani from the streets, from the desert guy. So like all of these names that are associated with him are so sus and so like made up. And I heard he's actually Saudi Arabian.
The guy is certainly not Syrian, just like Bin Laden.
I heard he's Saudi Arabian. Is he Saudi Arabian?
I'm not sure. I don't know. Like I've heard rumors that he's Iraqi. I've heard rumors that he's Syrian. I heard rumors that he's like from Qatar. God knows like where he comes from. Like it doesn't even matter. The point is like the guy is not an actual fucking
The Kuwaitis have a category for those. They call them bidun, which means without. And those are like actually a percentage of the Kuwaiti population are, lost their documents, quote unquote, and are generally speaking probably not Kuwaitis, and wanted to be Kuwaitis after the invasion. So the Kuwaitis decided to give them all nationalities, but not actually nationalities. So they give them like residence, but on their national IDs, where it says nationality, it says without. So these people are called bidun, which means without. Yeah, so there's a solution. Maybe he's one of those.
Probably. But the interesting thing is, when I was working for Fort Rice News, we were reporting about Israelis and the U.S. Helping these freedom fighters and rebranded ISIS guys that Western media needs to remove their ISIS patches because it's not good for TV. These guys were being saved by Israelis and by the U.S. military, and they were actually being treated in these hospitals by the U.S. military and the Israelis. So now, when they came to power through democratic means, now they're saying we're not going to fight Israel, and the Israelis, of course, have just taken like all of Golan Heights. So yeah, that's very.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about. This is like all sounds like Iranian propaganda. I don't know if you met some like Iranian belly dancers in Hungary. Yeah, when you were there. In the Magyar, with the Magyar people. No comment. Also, everybody knows when this happens. Want to join the U.S.? Sure. she's not interested. This is
This is not how I imagine Denmark, to be honest. I would imagine it to be reversed.
right.
So,
That's what the comments were like on the post. But at the end of the day, reality surprises you, and is full of comedy, as we keep finding out. Let me just see. Was this? Yes, it is. This was sent in by Vex. Also, professional myopia. It's a choice. Some people might get it. Other people might not. It's like that camouflage joke. We've got finally just 2, 3, 4 memes. Oh, 3 memes and another thing. And your last article, or the most recent news as of the 15th.
yep.
Kiev regime's forced conscription exacerbates a manpower crisis amid mass desertions. Before you get into it, I saw an article of a recent Ukrainian defector who just happened to be a world champion, like something or another in sports, like wrestling or high jump, or like who cares, but like world champion Olympian who got like mobilized and was sent to like be a frontline soldier to die. Basically was like, F that shit, I'm going to the Russians. And there's a video of her. Her, by the way. Yeah, her. How's that vote going for you, women? In any case, Drago, let's not get into the 19th Amendment. Why don't you tell us about what's in this article here?
Well, I essentially explained a lot about what's going on regarding the TCC, or these recruitment offices that are essentially that have been kidnapping people off the streets for 3 years at this point. Like I've posted a bunch of videos. I mean, links to a bunch of videos, especially from our friend the Florist, and I think there are a few to your channel. I mean, the interesting thing is like the things you see it happening in Ukraine. If this were happening in any other country that is not supported by the West, it would be all over the news. But they keep suppressing it, in Western media. But the point is, like, it's so prevalent and it's so common that it's almost impossible to hide it. And of course, the result is that at least 100,000 Ukrainians, although the real number could be over 200,000, but at least 100,000 Ukrainians have actually fled the military so far, which equates to 20 brigades. So yeah, like you can imagine how impactful that is on the Kiev regime forces.
All the non-military people are going, yes, finally, I did the backwards math. It's 5,000 people in a brigade. Thank the Lord. Right? It's around 5,000 in a brigade, right? Depending on
five to six. It could be 6, but the point is like all these people that are fleeing. They're not going to come back. I mean, you're not going to see them in the streets, and especially if it's the DCC, they're going to
might come back, but they might be wearing Russian uniforms, like some have.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, like many have. Like there could be up to 20,000. The last number I checked is there could be at least 20,000 Ukrainian soldiers, former Ukrainian soldiers, within the Russian military right now, because they know that they have far bigger chances to survive as Russian soldiers than Ukrainian soldiers, and like it's a confirmation of what we've been saying.
12 to 1 ratio, something like that, like 12 to 1 odds.
Like we did the math. Like I did the math 2 years ago, and it has been confirmed by battlefield data so far. And I mean, it's quite simple. Like artillery kills 80% of soldiers. The Russians have at least 10 times. 10 to 1 in terms of artillery advantage. So like just do the math, like try to understand, like even if the Russians are dying because they're advancing, this is ameliorated by artillery dominance. And of course, this is the reason why the Ukrainians have such crazy losses, and why they need to lower the conscription age, and why NATO insists that it goes down to 18 years old. So, I mean, they're winning, and the Russians are losing forward, as you say.
The Russians keep losing forward, and they are obviously Yeah, let's not get into Syria because that's a whole different can of worms.
Yeah.
We're done with your articles, and we're like 10 seconds to the hour. But I've still got a meme or two left over, and then I've got a little thing that I want to put up here. So this was shared by John Woo. Longtime subscribers will know he is the one who provides the tunes here at Working Brother, including this one that you can hear in the background now. And that is basically all the music here. So he posted this. I'll leave a link to talks I did with him if you are interested. In your opinion, historically, which church is the true church of Christ? Only one word answer. Orthodox. So yeah, he was saying, even ChatGPT, he said it in Greek, but it's auto-translated via the Book of Faces. Scary faces sometimes. Now with AI faces and AI profiles, did you hear that, Drago? They're like making virtual profiles on Facebook that they're gonna like just push there, like to be your friends. So yeah, there's that going on.
If you can buy, like a synthetic girlfriend, I guess everything else goes. So.
No comment. Oops, that's the wrong scene. No comment. No synthetic girlfriend for me. Thank you very much. Also, no Neuralink. No Neuralink. No, none of that other stuff either. I want to flash up this classic from year 1 of the SMO. By the way, people, when you get to chat, where's the Telegram prompt? There's the Telegram prompt. Go find the Working Brother on Telegram. As you see, you get to go underground. And then we get to go on tunnel rides. Not the Jewish kind, the other kind. And then there's the back door, which is the like chat room, where all kinds of things are sent. And the people share their opinions and stuff and funny stuff, including this photo, which is from year 1 of SMO. But why, when he shared it, he deleted it thinking that it was unwelcome. It is very welcome, because this is very true of modern-day Europe. But also, keep in mind, anything you send on Telegram can be, and delete, can be seen by admins in all chats. So there's that. Deleting stuff doesn't really help. And also, stop editing things after the arguments have happened, because, like, come on. like, come on. Seriously speaking now. We don't want to have to change the chat rules. And I've got like chat rules. These were shared in the chat the other day. People might have noticed them. For those that haven't, have a look here. Some chat rules to aspire to from some random chat that I almost joined. Just because the rules are so, how can I say, extremist. I like extremist rules. We don't want bots and spammers and stuff in our chat. Drago, you made it through the second hour of a talk with the Working Brother of this new year, 2025. Still getting used to saying it. I'm going to play some music here as we do this outro. Drago, how is 2025 taking off for you? Are you enjoying it?
Well, it's been interesting, and as you said, I mean, I'm still trying to get used to it. And the good thing about all these like bots and stuff appearing on social media, well, it actually might get people off social media. So we're going to go outside a bit more. We're going to go back to 2005, hopefully, in that regard, and just to have actual lives instead of living online all the time.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Shout out to Maya for this from last time. Remember, your opinion matters almost as much as voting. Thank you for being here to the end. Like, share, subscribe. If you're not subscribed, I don't know why you're here. See you later. Have fun, everyone. Drago, thanks again. Oh wait, where's that thing? Where's that thing? We gotta. There we go. That's what we want to take it out with. Certified Drago. See you later, everyone.